Hello everybody, welcome to Suburban Dad's Wilderness Survival. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about knots and tarp survival shelters. I'm going to do the 5-minute shelter today. Has a few different formations we can set it up in. It's really simple and you really only need to know 4 knots to be able to do it. So without further ado, let's get to those knots and then I'll show you how to put them to use. Alright, let's start with a bowline. Everybody's nemesis knot. Everybody seems to forget how to do this. Alright, long lead of the line off this way, end of my line right here. Very easy knot to tie. And we've all heard the rabbit comes out of the hole, around the tree, back in the hole. Well, let's go through that. First thing I need to do, take the end of my line, I'm going to make a loop over the top, just like that. Right? Nice and easy. That loop is going to be part of the knot itself. This loop is going to be what's going around whatever object. So I've got my loop, my rabbit comes out of the hole, goes around the tree, which is my line leading back to the main line. And around the tree, back in the hole. So I've got something that looks like this. Right? Let me just pull that tight. And there's our bowline. Nice and easy. This is going to be the first knot I'm going to use in our shelter system. I'll show you how to do that right now. Now, with our bowline here, I want to go around the tree, wherever we're going to start our shelter on. Move this over here so you can see better. Alright, I do not have ideal conditions out here right now, but we work with what we got, right? So come around the tree like this, bowline here, take a bite on our line and pull it through that loop. You can use a stick off the ground, anything you want. I'm going to use a stake here for today. Put that in that loop, pull it tight. Now we've got a quick release for when we take our shelter down. It's going to be simple and easy. All we got to do is pull that stake and our line's free. Alright, so quick and easy. It's the first step of the 5-minute shelter. A great shelter. I wish I could take credit for it, but I did not invent this one. There you have it. Alright, now our next knot here is going to be a modified trucker hitch. The first thing I do is go ahead and get my line around the tree that I'm going to be using. Kind of roughly about the height that I want. Bring that back. First thing I do is grab underneath like this on my ridge line, make a loop, and lay it over the top. Always going towards the tree. So I've got my nice loop, lay it over the top, pull that through to create my trucker hitch. It's going to give me a nice loop to work off of. I'll take the other end of my line, pull it through there. Now I've got a mechanical advantage to be able to pull that line tight. Just like that. Alright. So now we've got our line nice and tight. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pinch across all 3 lines. Get a good pinch on it. Lay my line over like that. Reach through. Grab a bite, pull it through. The smaller you do this loop, the easier it's going to be. And pull it tight. There we go. Now I've got the first point for my shelter. This is really easy. Then we'll run this through the loop. Use my belt loop here. Right here. Got this. So just with my tarp, my grommet or attached loop, run it through there, put a stake through it, and pull it tight. Now I've got the beginning of my shelter. I can pull on that all day long. It's not going to come loose until I want it to. When I want it to, pull that loose, and I'm free. That's all there is to it. Let's go ahead and get that tarp out and we'll get this set up. We'll show you a couple of different variations. And I'll show you how to tie the Prusik knot. So now we're 2 knots in. We've got 2 knots, first 2 knots of the system, and we've got our ridge line is in place and taut. Next thing we want to do is tie a Prusik knot. The first step to a Prusik knot is making a loop. I use bank line, I use number 36 bank line because it's slightly smaller than my 550 cord, so it binds to it really nice. Undo the knot I have here. A couple of ways you can tie this loop. A simple way, just to take both ends of your bank line, tie a simple overhand knot like that. There we go. We've got a knot. We've got a loop. It's a little bit bigger knot, so when we attach it to our ridge line, we want to make sure that's not the one we're trying to push through or grommet. Alright, the knot I like to tie is a simple square knot. And all it is, right over the left, left over right. You can do it left over right, right over left, it doesn't matter. The goal is to come out with a knot that looks something like this and kind of slides. Pull that tight, and it will not come undone. It gives you a slightly smaller knot than the other 2 methods I just showed you. So this is the 3rd knot I'm going to recommend that everybody learns, is a nice simple square knot. And from there, let's go to the Prusik. Alright, Prusik knot is a very simple knot. Again, depending upon the size of your grommet, you're going to want to pay attention to where that knot is. We'll go ahead and put it off to the side, just because that's the one way I'm going to do it most of the time. We're going to lay this over our line, so we got a nice little loop here, right? And I'm just going to pull this through. I'm going to do that 3 times. Dress it up a little bit. Pull it tight. Now I've got that nice little knot. And the nice thing about this knot, I can easily slide it up and down my line to wherever I want it. Pull it tight and pull all day long, and it will not budge in either direction. So now I can slide this again using that same method. Put it through the loop in my tarp or the grommet. Put my stake in there, slide it till it's tight, and it's going to hold the other side of my shelter up on my ridge line. And when it's time to go, pluck it, we're good to go. When I roll my ridge line up, I can slide this all the way to one end. I'm going to push it all the way down towards my bowline end, so I can leave that bowline in there. I can leave my Prusik in there, and I'm set. It's going to take me less than 5 minutes to get this shelter up anytime. Let's get to that shelter. Pull it through, put a stick or stake in there, pull it tight. There we go. Now to create the other end of our shelter on our ridge line, all we need to do, put that line through there like that. Put a stake or a stick you picked up off the ground, put it through there, pull it tight, pull that nice and snug. There we have it. Now we're secured to our ridge line. All we gotta do is stake out the corners, and we got a shelter. There you have it, quick and simple, down and dirty, nice little shelter. That's just a classic A-frame. There's other ways we can set this up. I'll show you that now. It's a bright sunny day. I can turn this thing over, have the reflective side up, and passive signaling for aircraft again. Now this, not an ideal place I would normally put a shelter, but we work with what we got, right? Survival scenarios are rarely idealistic.